Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to SubGI's Open Day. My name is Jana Stranska. I'm the student recruitment coordinator here at SubGI. As you can see, our program is quite packed, so without any further ado, I would like to introduce our first two speakers. Marek Kapička, the director of SubGI, and Stanislav Anatoliev, the deputy director for graduate studies.
All right. Thanks, Jana, and welcome, everyone. My name is Marek Kapička. I'm the director of SubGI. I'm going to talk in general about who we are and what our programs are. So SubGI was founded in 1991 with the idea of bringing US-style education to Central Europe. It started with the observation that in Central Europe or more generally in the whole post-Soviet region, there's really no one who is trained in economics in the modern Western style. So there were all the socialist economists, basically, and so the idea was to build a program here in Prague that would provide that kind of high-quality, excellence education that people know from the US and other parts of Europe. So originally it started with only a PhD program. And more recently, we have extended this also to the Master in Economic Research program. I'm going to talk a little bit more about them. But what's really in the DNA of this institution is that this is a US-style program with the culture that's basically identical to what you would find in US departments. Most of us know because most of us have been to those departments. We've studied there or been a faculty. And in fact, if you look around, what we do is we hire people exclusively on the basis of excellence. We hire them on international markets, and they have to satisfy the standards in research and teaching. Just as an example, this year we've already hired a person from Bonn. We hired a person from Copenhagen and Zurich. Last year we hired someone from Harvard and IMF. Just today, we have a job market candidate in the building. You may run into him from London School of Economics. So we're really fishing for the highest quality of our faculty in those areas. And so when you come here, you'll experience this excellence not just in research but also in teaching, and a close connection between the two. That's well known from US department. It's a very open culture here in terms of interaction between faculty and students. Students have weekly workshops. It's an open door policy, so you can go to faculty anytime you want. So it's easily approachable, a collegial atmosphere. It's a very international environment, not just because of the faculty, but also because of the students that come from all over the world. So English is a speaking language, and all courses are, of course, taught in English. If you walk through the hallways, it's mostly English. The PhD program that we have, this is the oldest. We call it a flagship program. That's focused more on research. It's an intensive training with 2 years of classes, and then about 4 years more of writing your thesis. The idea is that students would go to academia, but it's not exclusively academia. We've had placement in private sector, we had placement in international organizations. So it's not that you have to go to academia and you have to do research for the rest of your life, but there's always a segment in that class that likes that, and they are very successful in academia. Just few examples of our students. This and last year, we placed them to Toulouse School of Economics, Toulouse Business School. We've placed them in Lisbon to a university. We placed them to a joint research center of the European Commission. So we had students who moved to other PhD programs in Zurich or Minnesota. So those that are interested in research have plenty of options to choose from. But again, it's not only about research for the rest of your life. It's about providing an intensive and rigorous training that you could use in other sectors as well. The Master in Economic Research program is a younger one. It's not focused on research primarily, despite the name. We've been working a lot on this program in the last year or two, improving its focus and its attractivity. We are focusing the program towards an economic analysis of public policies, or something that would be useful in public sector, and as well data science. So those sets of skills are the ones that will feature prominently if you go into that program. And the idea is that our graduates will have skills that will allow them to thrive maybe in a governmental sector, in NGOs, anywhere where they come in touch with analysis of public policies, and they need to know the basic economic skills. Of course, if you have a change of mind and you decide that you want to do PhD, there are options to go and continue with the PhD as well. So those are, and you'll hear more about each of the two programs. I'm gonna finish with two observations. One is, and that's especially pertinent to those that come from the Czech Republic or the Central European or post-Soviet region. I take it that you've had some exposure to economics before now, and you may be under the impression that economics may be an impression from newspapers or media. The economics is about kind of choosing a school of thought and declaring your loyalty to that for the rest of your life. That's not what economics is about at all. Economics is about carefully looking at data, analyzing data, knowing how to analyze data, and then building theories that are consistent with data and using the theories to answer practical questions. And that's this evidence-based approach. It's something that goes through all the courses and everything that we do it here. And it's not just about economics. It's just about analyzing any problems that you will run into when whatever your future careers is going to be. And we do that. I dare to say that we do that better than anyone else in this country and in the Central European region. And one last observation is that sometimes I run into students who think, maybe I don't know if I should apply because this might be too hard for me or things like that. I would encourage you, there's a simple solution, leave this to us. You apply, and I think we know we can select people where we think that they will succeed. So that's don't hesitate to apply. Just because you think you will not be able to make it. We've got some experience with selecting students, and so if you apply and we select you, we think that you'll get good enough, and you will be able to be successful in our programs. And one more thing before I finish, PhD program. This next year we're increasing the stipends quite substantially. Relative to what we had this year, so something that you might find attractive. The basic stipend is going to be $25K per month, and there are going to be performance stipends on top of it. And on that, I'll finish and go to Stash.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm representing the PhD program mostly. So what I'm going to say, in addition to what Marek said, is mostly concerns the PhD program. But the CGI, the whole, again, this is a repetition of what Marek said, follows an American model of an economics department. And this means several things. Some of them have to do with the students a lot, some not so much. This includes hiring professors in the international job market. This also includes so-called tenure track system, but this is not about students, this is about professors. As for about students, this means that we are, our curriculum is kind of a copy of an American PhD curriculum. And our role model are departments like Princeton University Economics. So from top 5, partly because our international advisory board, our kind of masterminds behind CGI, yeah, they are from those places, Princeton in particular, but not only. So the curriculum is divided into 2 major parts, 2 years of coursework and dissertation. And the coursework is 2 years. The first year is so-called core curriculum, basic courses, microeconomics, macroeconomics, and statistics plus econometrics. So those 3. In addition, you have also English writing courses, academic writing, and so on. These 3. And in the second year, you specialize in specific fields. So there are lots of fields, like 10, about as many as there are PhD students in that year. Okay, so there is big choice. And they are coupled into fields, and you are gonna take 3 fields, right? Most likely you will choose those with similar focus, like more micro focus or macro focus or data analysis focus, right? And yeah, that will be your coursework. And from year 3 up to whenever your dissertation is ready to be defended, you are writing this dissertation. You are doing research, basically. 3 publishable papers. Not published, publishable. Which starts from your writing a proposal, dissertation proposal, defending it in front of a committee, and then you implement it. But you are exposed to research much earlier than that. Even from the beginning of the second year, we have a so-called research methodology seminar, theoretical part and practical part. In theoretical part, we teach you, actually I teach you what the economic science, academics looks like in the world, right? What the job market is for economists, how to write papers, what are the journals, where you gonna publish those papers, how you write them, how you present them, what conferences and seminars are out there, etc., etc., etc. Okay, and then other guys take over and do more kind of hand-to-hand work with you, like how to organize slides, listen to your ideas, research ideas, exchange ideas, etc., etc. So when you are gonna present your proposal, research proposal, the dissertation proposal, you are totally know everything about how to do research. And on top of that, we are offering you research assistantships, where you can learn by doing actually research for your professor. And actually, we kill each other for best our race among you. What else? Also, if you want to teach instead of doing research more, there are such possibilities. We have teaching assistantships, but this will probably you will cover, right? Yeah.
I will improvise.
Okay, so you will always have funds to fund your study, that's for sure, and for stipends, and also getting experience as you are being funded. What else? Okay, I will not talk about the dissertation stage too much because that's a long way to go. I could. Okay, again, the American model, in Europe, this is a rarity and not many departments fall, none other than CGI from the Charles University, right? From Charles University, we are the only department which follows this model. There are other departments in Europe, a couple in Italy, maybe one in Kiev, one in Moscow, maybe in Denmark, but very few. So if you are choosing among departments which do economics, think about this aspect as well.
We introduce our next speaker, Deborah Nováková. Is head of Academic Skills Center, and Deborah and her colleagues are doing a wonderful job helping our students with their presentation and writing skills. And Deborah is here to tell us more.
I'll be short today. Professor Anatoliev has mentioned that you will produce publishable works. And that can sometimes sound a little intimidating, but you don't have to worry because my department is here to support you in recognizing and producing professional, publishable texts, both written and oral, and to talk about your work and explain your ideas clearly. Both, as I said, both in writing and orally, so for job market talks and conferences and things like that. So we will help you to prepare to succeed in writing and speaking clearly about your ideas and your research. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah. And now I'm happy to introduce my colleagues from Study Affairs Office. Let's find the right slide. Where is it?
Oh, fine.
Oh, okay.
This one.
Okay.
So you've already seen this one. So again, I'm really happy to see you all here that made it and the students that I represent. So you've heard a lot of things about the CERT-GI. Some of them I've been thinking that I will say, so I'll try to not repeat everything that's been said here. And let me just sort of summarize it for what happens if you decide, and we hope that you've already decided because you're here to apply to the CERT-GI. So program number 1, it's the Master in Economic Research. This is just a standard master's program, and you will be a student at the CERT-GI for the 2 years. So what happens during those 2 years? And that's just like divided into the 2 years. The first year, it's just basically where you will be studying the basics, the foundation of the economics. Again, it's mostly focusing on micro statistics, and econometrics. So this is the year number 1. During your first year, you will also start developing the relationship with our wonderful faculty members here, and you will start looking at what is going to be your master thesis topic. So this is what you will be developing in year number 1. topic, looking at it, and then year number 2 comes for all the master students, and this is where you will be focusing on electives. These electives, they are basically changing every year, so looking at the utmost current economic research and just looking at what you guys might be interested in. So this is just the year number 2. As we expected from most of our students, after the 2 years, you will write your master thesis with the guidance of one of our fellow professors and end up with the defense in the defending your thesis. It means that the CERT-GI, as it is mostly common in the Czech school, there is no other state examination. Your state examination will be just defending the master thesis. So this is just like the master's program in a nutshell, as I just right now described. This is what you will need to do while you experience all the wonderful things that the director and the DDG has described to you guys. So this is just what needs to be done. Okay? Right now, so now, PhD students. So PhD curriculum, that's more complicated and more divided, and the rules and regulations of all of it are nightmare. So my job for you guys will be also, if you don't know what to do, you usually come to see me. So that's just like, I don't know this rule and this rule. Why is that? It's simple, because the PhD curriculum and PhD program is basically a double degree program. So which means, as been said, it follows the US curriculum that we are looking at and that you're following the rules from this program. But the program is also accredited, as well as the master's program, by the Charles University under the institutional accreditation, which basically means there is a second set of the rules which might not be the same as the first set of the rules. So this is why where it gets a little bit on the complicated part. Okay, in the end, it actually means that if you're studying the PhD program, you end up with 3 different diplomas. Diploma number 1 is after the first 2 years, after has been described by the DDGS, where you studied basically the generics and preparing for your research. So that's sort of end up with the MA degree on the way towards to your PhD. It's a US degree. So this is the diploma number 1 that you are receiving at the CERT-GI. Expect that you pass all the expectations, all examination, everything goes fine, and you are ready for the research and writing your dissertation, which starts basically from the year number 3, and it can maximally take you 8 years, because this is the regulation done by the Czech law. So 8 years is the maximum that you can spend on writing and defending your dissertation. Okay, after that comes your dissertation defense, and you're gaining 2 diplomas at once. Again, one is US and one is Czech. One from the Charles University, one from the CERT-GI. Hence, your 3 diplomas on the way towards the PhD. Okay, so as we said, the Study Affairs Office, we're about the rules, what needs to be done, when you need to sign up, what needs to be done. So what is going to be the most important thing, guys, for you to do right now is basically get to the application, fill out the admission process, and what we require from you to become a student of the CERT-GI. Right now, I'm going to hand the word to Markéta. Markéta is my admission specialist, and she's going to tell you guys what needs to be done and how you need to fill out your application.
Thank you, Eva. So, nice to see you all. And thank you, you are joining us today. And now let me continue with the presentation with some information about the admission process. So you can apply for master if you already have your bachelor degree, or if you obtain such a degree by September 2025, the latest. You can apply for PhD if you already have your master degree, or if you obtain such a degree by September 2025, the latest. You need to prove your proficiency in English. I will speak about this later. You need to have strong mathematical skills. I know this sounds a bit vague, so you can check what exactly is meant by that. On our website, there is in detail what is meant concerning calculus, algebra, and statistics for both master program or for PhD program. And previous education in economics is recommended, but it doesn't mean that if you studied something else, you can't be admitted. Such applicants can be, for example, or can, for example, participate in preparatory semester. You can apply online only via our online application form, and you have to upload some documents to your application. Please also take note there is a mandatory application fee for both a master program and PhD program, and this fee is or can be reimbursed in case you will be signed in September for your study. So to your online application, you need to upload your up-to-date CV. Please take note it shouldn't be longer than 2 pages. You also upload your statement of motivation, which shouldn't be longer than 2,000 characters, including spaces, and you can find some tips from Deborah about how to write a good motivation letter on our website. You also need to upload copies of your diplomas and of your transcripts. If you apply for PhD, you need to upload both your master diplomas and PhD diplomas and transcript as well. If these documents are not in English, you need to upload official English translation with the original documents. So please always upload together the original and the translation. Proof of English proficiency. Proof of English proficiency is usually certificate from internationally recognized exam such as Cambridge, IELTS, TOEFL, or also Duolingo. A confirmation of studying in English, I mean as a medium of instruction, is not deemed as a sufficient proof of English proficiency, but there are some exceptions. And it's in the cases when the studies were undertaken in majority native English-speaking countries, namely it's Australia and the speaking territory of Canada, Ireland, United States, United Kingdom, New Zealand, or Malta. In any other cases, you need to upload a certificate of internationally recognized exam. You can also find the details about this on our website, what concerns scores. For example, for Duolingo, you need to have at least 115 points. For IELTS and TOEFL, we have only recommended scores, which is 6.5 for IELTS and 90 points for TOEFL. And to our ideally free academic references. For master applicants, it is optional. For PhD, it's mandatory. In this case, it's a bit tricky because in the online application, you need to fill out form where you fill out the contacts for your referees, and then we contact them directly. You don't upload any documents in the application form directly. And what concerns the admission process, in the case of masters, the process is quite simple because it's just single round, and the admission committee evaluates all the documents you upload to your application. In the case of PhD, it's a bit more complicated because it's 3 round. In the first round, all the documents you upload are evaluated, and then there are 2 options. You can be rejected, or you can go to the second round, which is oral interview before a committee. This interview will be online, so you don't have to travel to Prague, and you will speak with someone from our faculty members about your specific interest and your research. And then there are three options. You can be directly admitted or rejected or invited to the preparatory semester. Preparatory semester is something like the third round, and it's non-compulsory, free, intensive preparation module where you have online courses, and then at the end you have a final exam. And based on the results of the exam, you can be either admitted or rejected. I think that's all from me. So thank you, and I will give the floor back to Jana.
Wow, thank you, Markéta and Eva. Before we start the Q&A session, I would like to bring your attention to our upcoming events. Next week we are having the week of open classes, which means you can come and attend any lecture by any professor at CERGI. Then in March, Eva and Markéta are holding 3 webinars for applicants, focusing mainly on the applications and admission process. So in case you don't remember everything that Markéta has just said, she will be saying it again and again at these webinars, and you can have more and more questions. And for the master's applicants, there is a chance to join the program's director office hours every Wednesday from 10 to 12. For like detailed information about these possibilities, I recommend to visit our website, cergi.cz/for study applicants, and you can find all the details, the schedules for next week, and everything. Now, if you have any questions, we also have some of our current students, so you can also have questions for the students or any of our speakers.
Yeah, I should add, I was talking about PhD level research, but at master's level, you are also supposed to do research in the second year. Master's thesis, right? Along with those elective courses, and even the program is called Master's Economic Research, right? With an accent on research. Okay, just in addition. And maybe also I see here which program are you interested in, right? And there are 5 not sure yet. So if you are not sure yet, go to the PhD program. I'm taking advantage of my being here, and the representative of Mayor will be here.
Okay, so we can start with the questions in the chat. Hello, are you going to share the presentation after the meeting? Yes, we will. And there will also be a recording. So we will send it to your email. The audio is not great. Sorry. Sorry about that. So there will be the recording. If I have 2 masters, one from American University of Central Asia, double degree, 1 degree from AUCA, and other from Bard College, US. And what is the question?
Yeah, I think that the question is again related to the necessity of the English proof on the certificates. I think that Markéta described all the necessity of the English certificates quite clearly about what we accept, what we don't accept. If you're not sure on what kind of admissions, please just email us and all that. So
the question comes after that. Yeah, it still needs the Duolingo and TEFL.
Yeah, I just don't know who is that. So if it's a US school, then no. So any schools outside and the countries that Markéta's been describing, then the answer is
in the hands. So yes, Rahman, you can tell us.
Sorry, hello everyone. Hello from Kabul. I am already engaged with just the Search Foundation. I've completed a number of the courses as well, and in economics, and besides, I have the master's from Kyrgyzstan. It is not from the US and any other country which you mentioned for the English. So I was asking, do I still need a TOEFL, IELTS, and all those while having one double degree master's in English? All the program was in English language. And the same from Spain, another master's and master of development in humanitarian aid. And I also have completed a number of SURGE EI courses, economic development, energy economics, international trade, and all that. So do I still have to spend time and go and take some TOEFL test, IELTS? So this was a question. Thank you.
Yes, please, you still need them because the conditions are the same for everyone. So unless, as Market has been described, the countries, please submit the certificate that we require.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. How large is each cohort? How many students are accepted each year?
Each year we accept the students that fulfill the conditions, and admissions commissions find them that they are the right students for the SURGEI. So usually the cohort's number is, for the last two, it's been 20 together. So as we said, the SURGEI is proud for being a small-scale program, focusing and having an individual approach, so that doesn't change. So it's more important the students than the number of the students.
Yeah, the student professor ratio is very, very small, right? Small.
Yeah.
Like 1/2.
Individual approach is the core of one of the things that we value at the SURGEI.
Thank you. And the next question, should we approach potential PhD supervisors before the March 31st deadline?
No, it's not necessary. So what we would like you to, in the application, there's a space where you could basically write about your interest. If you have, look at the SURGEI faculty members, look at their research interests. So the admissions committees always value that if they see it in the application. But as we've been describing our program, for the first 2 years, you're going back to the classroom, looking at the basics, and start developing your research project in the later years. It's good to put it, but you are not approaching the SURGEI faculty for being picked up as the supervisors.
And there is no commitment even if you do that. Many people change their minds after passing the courses and seeing that their interests are actually different from what they've thought before.
But that being said, if you want to talk to some faculty members about your interests and what they're doing, we're very approachable, so just feel free to email them and talk to them, but there's no need to select anyone.
Thank you. The next question is, hello, when can we apply for preparatory courses? After the main admission or whenever we want?
The preparatory semester is part of basically the admissions, because the students who are recommended to the preparatory semester needs to go through the preparatory examination. However, if you're accepted and you're still interested in the preparatory semester, but that's for the accepted students or the ones that are basically moving through the SURGEI rounds, then yes, you can participate in the preparatory semester. But it's integral part of the admissions process.
And there was we skipped one question. If I am accepted to PhD program, but in any case I want to do the preparatory courses to refresh knowledge, but I don't approve them, will I be rejected of the PhD?
Sure what this means.
I think when she gets accepted, admitted to the PhD program, but she wants to do the preparatory course anyways, it's possible. And if she doesn't,
and if the student, if you don't pass the exam, then you're rejected for the study. So as Market has been describing, the PhD process has several rounds. For the students who are, after the second round, accepted going to the preparatory semester, must do the final test, so to being accepted as the students at the SURGEI.
What has the acceptance rate approximately been for the past few years? That's all questions for are you?
One third.
Probably.
Yeah, about one third.
It's higher in the master's program than in the PhD.
Yeah, much higher.
So it was like 1/3 for PhD and half of masters. Is the
Yeah, I would say that's about correct.
I have been out of an academic setting since 2021, so I am unsure I would be a competitive PhD candidate, but I does have my interest. One of the presenters mentioned that there are options to switch a master track into PhD. Could you elaborate on this process? Thank you.
No, I think there was a little bit confusion. So there are two routes. So you either apply for the master's degree, which is the Master in Economic Research, or the PhD in Economics and in Econometrics. That's the US part of the program, and the PhD program allows the students to enables the students to end after the 2 years gaining the US master's degree diploma. There is no possibility to switching between the master's in economic research and the PhD program. So because the transfer between those two programs just basically doesn't exist. So you would have to reapply in the program, let's say again. So which is that you really have to make a careful decision if you are up more for applying for the master's program or going to the PhD.
Master students take PhD courses.
Yeah, but that's
not a formal switch, but
formal switch.
But you can take the PhD level courses in the first 2 years and then apply to the PhD. And if you've passed, then this is going to be acknowledged. You don't have to go through them again.
Yeah. Well, that's
not a formal switching, but there's a path to PhD.
What specializations are there in PhD?
Well, it's about 10 specializations. I don't remember all of them. I remember mine. Time series econometrics plus macro or empirical macro, empirical finance, depending on which professors teach the second part. This is one. There is a couple of labor courses, making a labor economics sequence, IOR sequence, which means industrial organization. There is history, economic history, this kind and this kind, making a sequence, a field macro kind of topics. 2 courses, experimental, I think you do have experimental, right? Experimental coupled with, I don't remember what.
Somewhere.
Microeconometrics sequence together with some sort of spatial econometrics or something. How many did I list? Well, of course, I forgot some of them, but it's about 10 currently fields, and the number of students is a little bit larger of those who are currently taking them. Okay, so the ratio of number of fields to number of students is also very small. Much.
The electives differ a little bit from year to year, depending on if someone is on leave or so. But what Stas has described is basically the structure.
Okay. The next question: do we have PhD in education economics? I'm not sure.
Well, education economics is kind of part of labor sequence, labor field. So there are elements of that, but PhD in that particular field, our PhD is in economics, period. And within PhD in economics, you can specialize in many sorts of
Does the GRE upload rate a lot in the PhD application?
Okay, the GRE is recommended because once you have a good scores in the GRE, then the admissions committee can assign a bonus point for uploading a GRE result. That means this is basically why it's highly recommended if you have a good result. So it's value of extra point from the admissions committee.
Yeah, the question continues because in the online application it said that to be highly recommended, but today you did not mention it at all.
I think I've answered that now.
Then the questions from Rebel. I applied last year and I didn't know the reasons for getting rejected, even though I have been to every offices to provide and fulfill every needed requirement. I just graduated last week from my master's and I have no prior experience in work. So my question is, does this scholarship provide it primarily to people who have prior experience, like 3 years and above? That's the first question. The second question, does the GPA matters? I have every needed material, but the grades I scored in is low, but I have graduated with great distinction from my bachelor's degree, so is there any hope for me, or should I not waste your time and mine?
I mean, the PhD stipends apply to everyone, right? There's no exception, so it doesn't depend on what your history is.
Exactly, it's just like no history, no race, so you can apply as many times as you want. No one can basically say that you can't apply. The matter is, and that's in the hands of the admissions committee if you get accepted. So, and I don't think so that we can respond on the individual question why the student was rejected. So we would certainly violate some GDPR practices here on that.
Okay, again, what is the minimum GPA required?
I think this question cannot be answered because different schools may have a different, let's say, value. It's not always the GPA, sometimes it's average. So it's more looking overall at your student's result than just saying that there is a GPA scores on that, because it's different in every school from different applicant.
Is there an age limit for applying for the PhD?
No, there is no age limit because that's like the race, class, gender, age play no roles in admissions criteria at all.
Okay, that's about the questions from the chat. Do we have any questions here in the room?
I would perhaps have a question. So do you think the PhD is good or optimal for somebody who likes to combine some career development with further education? Or do you think it's so intense, let's say, that that the students should expect for 4 years to focus on nothing else but on studying the PhD?
You should focus on nothing else but studying PhD. That's the default. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, I have maybe more general questions. It's not about the admission process, it's more about economics overall, so if that's okay here. I would like to ask maybe the directors, like, what do you think is the direction of economics in academia these days, and how does SearchER planning to accommodate it?
Ah, okay, that's a broad question. So I mean, what I mentioned, I mean, a drive towards evidence-based inference, looking carefully at data and finding new data sets, analyzing new data sets, new methods. That's been quite dominant, and we have that here at SERGEI. There's also been a drive towards behavioral economics that kind of departing from the standard assumptions that you probably know from textbooks, and that's we've been doing that here as well. It's you know, we got Philip Matejka and others who've been leaders of the field in that. I mean, my work is in macroeconomics, and one of the dominant themes in the last, let's say 25 years is to think about heterogeneity, distributions of whatever skills, consumption, wealth, and incorporating them into the model. and building better models that can better capture both the aggregates that you probably know from some other classes, but as well as the de-evolutions of heterogeneity. So that's I guess.
Thank you.
Yeah, in econometrics, I can say we experience pressure from the machine learning world. So that our inference, is too theoretical, too strict, and while this black box philosophy is kind of more practical, and we do experience that, and we do have responses. For example, in the Masters in Economics Research Program, we have now a course in machine learning. In particular, in my courses, I also kind of adapting some of it, right, without trying not to change the whole focus, though.
I have a question just about the admission. In the past, my master degree, the major is not so economic. It's kind of the tourist management that can help me to have some chance to pass or apply for the PhD in economic.
You can apply. Anyone can apply. That's perfectly fine.
Not so strong connection of the major of master degree.
It's not disqualifying. It's not. So at some point was mentioned economics is recommended, but it's not required. So as long as you're able to you know the quantitative skills that are required, or mathematical skills that are required, or are able to learn them or willing to learn them, that's perfectly fine, even if you don't have a background in economics.
Thank you.
Here might be one question for our students. How is your male-female ratio? So we have students from first year and second year. How many girls do you have, Suki, in your class?
I would say there's really less girls. But in our first year, there's only 3 girls.
3 girls? Out of how many?
Like
12, I think.
Yeah.
It may be the true for 1 year, but overall the CERGI has a very balanced ratio between female and male students. So overall it's about 50% of each. So this is one of the, it may be true for 1 year, but overall, as I said, 50% almost.
Okay, thank you. Does the PhD program support immediately a family to be with the PhD student, like wife and kids or parents?
The stipend, and even with the race, is basically designed to support one person studying the PhD program. So
increasing stipends may be possible.
maybe, but it's not meant to be. So let's put it fairly on that level. So the increase is good, but still not designed.
Depends on the appetite.
Yeah.
Yes, but we have students who bring their families. So
Yeah, we do. There are even the family dorms within the Charles University, which might help on that level too.
next question, do you suggest any joint PhD program with some partner other than visiting? Not sure what it means.
I think that if CERGI doesn't have a joint program, but students in the PhD program often after the third year are going on a research trace or mobility abroad, so where you learn and study with.
Yeah, that's an intrinsic feature of our PhD program, to send almost all students, better students at least, to top universities, mostly in the United States, for them to learn from other places, right? To get fresh ideas, etc., and to show themselves to the world. So actually, currently, I have 2 students from this 3rd and 4th years, and they are both now on this mobility program. One in the Princeton economics and one in MIT economics. So very prestigious places. So, and we allow that, and this is financed through various sources.
Exactly.
Sources.
Through Charles University internal funding and other grants opportunities. So.
Sophia is online now, but she's planning to join for the networking a bit later. So we will be in room number 1. See you there, Sophia.
Second floor.
Second floor, room number 1, yes. You're welcome to join us for the coffee break. For the presentation, if the student has grade C with all required mathematics from previous studies, from especially like engineering, is that enough to have a waiver from preparatory semester?
Why do you want this waiver? You're admitted with the preparatory semester. It's not worse than directly admitted. It's a chance to refresh indeed your mathematics knowledge and be exposed to some economics. But if you insist, it all depends on your whole package, not about that grade C.
Okay, thank you. And Jason, so there would be good options at SRGI for students interested in behavioral economics.
We have some behavioral inside the fields which are not maybe called behavioral, but microeconomics, economic theory. There are sections there, right? Actually, I would also add to my previous answer about educational economics. Someone was asking, and this behavioral economics as well. Maybe the authors of the question actually were asking about possibility of doing research in those areas, not exactly in which fields there are courses, but whether it's possible to do research in those fields. And this depends totally on the expertise of the faculty. If in the faculty we have experts doing research in those fields, then it's possible, even though there may not be exactly courses named in this way, or whatever. So, for example, we don't have a sequence of financial courses, at least at this point. But if you want to do financial econometrics, I have publications and we do collaborate with students, and I have students in financial econometrics. Although finance is kind of, I can finance here yet.
I would say one answer to all those types of questions is go to our website, look at our faculty profiles, look at what they are interested in, and see, if you're somewhere close to what they're doing.
It's what's there is for the current situation, right? But we are hiring. We just hired new persons, and hoping for one more, and they may have expertise in those fields, even though currently we don't. And again, as I already said, many students change their minds and change their interests. So if you want to do wine economics right now, and we had this person who wanted to do wine economics, but eventually she did hardcore macro theory, and she's fine.
The first 2 years will change your options anyway.
Okay, have we answered everything? Oh, there is a question.
One more question about mobility. Is it possible to participate in Erasmus or other programs also during mobility programs also during the master? Maybe probably Charles University or like a free mover, I don't know.
We haven't done that, right?
Currently don't have that also specific cooperation. It's something that we are definitely looking into it for the future of the program. So we had students coming in here, but we didn't have a student during the master's program going abroad. So that's like, but we are definitely looking at it.
We don't have time for that, right? If they miss a couple of months, then the whole curriculum.
The first year, definitely not, but we are definitely looking at it for the second year, where you are looking at the electives and all that. Yeah. Just like honest answer on that.
Okay, so if there are no further questions, we will do one more. Okay. If I already have a valid dissertation proposal, is it possible to receive help with it at earlier stage of your PhD, if in case it might initially take more than 3 years of research?
Who said it's valid? We have a commission, we form commissions, committees, in order to determine whether they are valid or not after students work on it like for a year. So at this point, it's not clear what.
So you can consult with faculty on your ideas during the first 2 years, and if it is indeed a valid proposal, then I guess it might speed up the whole process a little bit, but still you have to go through the classes and then through the dissertation proposal workshops and other things.
Okay. So let's conclude the virtual part of this open day. Thank you all for joining us online, and good luck with your applications. I hope to see you here in September, end of September, beginning of October. For those of you who are attending in person today, you have now the opportunity to explore the building. Our students in the back row will guide you around, and we will soon meet again in room number 1 for the coffee break.